Assalamu alaikum. This is Protusha Borwa welcoming you all to the English news from BTV Chattogram. Let's begin with the headlines. Interim government enters second chapter, main focus on ensuring a fair parliament election, says Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus. Election Commission receives letter from Chief Advisor's office to organize parliament election in February. Investigation reports submitted to International Crimes Tribunal accusing 5 police members, including former DMP Commissioner Habibur Rahman, in charge of shooting during mass uprising. Foreign direct investment reaches 10,500 crore taka, which more than double compared to last year. Delhi criticizes US for new additional tariff on India. And Inter Miami secure quarterfinal sport with thrilling 3-1 win over Pumas in group stage of Leagues Cup 2025. Viewers, those were the headlines. Are moving on to the details. Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus said the government has entered the second chapter of its tenure, with the key focus now on ensuring a fair national election. The Chief Advisor said this at a meeting of the Council of Advisors at the Secretariat today. In addition to the upcoming election, the Chief Advisor emphasized 2 other ongoing priorities: advancing key reforms and continuing the trials already in progress. The meeting was chaired by Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus, with the members of the Advisory Council and secretaries concerned in the attendance. Informed in the meeting that for the 4 trials have already started in the investigation of the July uprising, the investigation of 27 is ongoing and charge sheets have been filed for 16. The progress of implementation of the decisions taken at the Advisory Council meeting was discussed in today's meeting. It was stated in the meeting that from the assumption of office of the interim government until July 31, 2025, a total of 315 decisions have been made in 41 Advisory Council meetings. Among them, 247 have been implemented, with an implementation rate of 78.41%, which is the highest to date. Additionally, 61 decisions are currently in progress. The meeting also discussed the progress of implementing the Reform Commission's recommendations. After the meeting, the Chief Advisor's Press Secretary Shafqul Alam briefed the reporters at the Secretariat.
বলেছেন যে 5 তারিখে আমাদের প্রথম অধ্যায়ের শেষ হয়েছে, আজকের থেকে দ্বিতীয় অধ্যায় শুরু, এবং উনি বলেছেন যে এই দ্বিতীয় অধ্যায়ের প্রধান কাজ হলো নির্বাচন সুন্দরভাবে করা। এটাই প্রধান কাজ। ট্রায়ালের ক্ষেত্রে আমরা বলতে পারি 4টা ট্রায়াল শুরু হয়েছে, 27টি ইনভেস্টিগেশন পর্যায়ে আছে, 16টা চার্জশিট হয়েছে। এই পুরো বিষয়টা ক্যাবিনেট প্রতিনিয়তই আপডেট নিচ্ছেন সংশ্লিষ্ট সবার কাছ থেকে। কাউন্সিল অফ অ্যাডভাইজার 2টি কংগ্রেচুলেশন প্রস্তাব গ্রহণ করেন। একটা হচ্ছে যে তারা শেখ বশির উদ্দিন আমাদের কমার্স অ্যাডভাইজারকে কংগ্রেচুলেশন জানিয়েছেন। উনি সাকসেসফুলি আমাদের যে ইউএসের সাথে যে ট্যারিফ টক্সটা সেটাকে উনি লিড করেছেন। ইউএস আমাদের উপরে 20% ট্যারিফ ইম্পোজ করেছে, এবং যেটা সত্যিকার অর্থে আমাদের যারা কম্পিটিটর তাদের থেকে আমরা বলবো যে আমরা একটা এখন মোটামুটি একই বা ভালো অবস্থানে আছি। কাউন্সিল অফ অ্যাডভাইজার অলসো মুস্তফা সারোয়ার ফারুকিকে শুভেচ্ছা জানিয়েছেন। জানেন উনি জুলাইয়ের যে 36 দিন, এই জুলাইয়ের যে পুরো অনুষ্ঠানমালা, উনি এটার একজন নিজের থেকে দাঁড়িয়ে থেকে উনি নেতৃত্ব দিয়েছেন, এবং এটা একদম সুচারুভাবে কমপ্লিশন হয়েছে। অগাস্টের 5 তারিখে, যেটাকে আমরা জুলাই 36 বলি, সেই দিন লাখ লাখ জনতা ছিল সংসদ ভবনের পাশে মানিক মিয়া এভিনিউ থেকে। মাইলস্টোন ট্র্যাজেডি নিয়ে আবার আলোচনা হয়েছে এবং এখানে যারা মারা গেছেন বিশেষ করে দুইজন টিচার এবং একজন আয়া তাদেরকে বিশেষ কি সম্মাননা দেওয়া যায় সেই বিষয়ে আলোচনা হয়েছে। মেহেরিন চৌধুরী আপনি জানেন যে ওনার যে বীরত্ব, ওনার যে সাহস উনি যে দেখিয়েছেন ওনার স্কুলের স্টুডেন্টদেরকে উদ্ধারে, উনি ওনার জীবনকে আত্মদান করেছেন বলতে হবে। ওনার নামে এডুকেশন মিনিস্ট্রি একটা ন্যাশনাল অ্যাওয়ার্ড ঘোষণা করবেন খুব শীঘ্রই। অ্যাওয়ার্ডের নাম হবে মেহেরিন চৌধুরী অ্যাওয়ার্ড অর প্রাইজ ফর আউটস্ট্যান্ডিং সার্ভিসেস। এইটা দেওয়া হবে শুধুমাত্র দেশব্যাপী যারা টিচার আছেন টিচারদেরকে দেওয়া হবে। এটা যে কোনো টিচার হতে পারেন।
The Election Commission has received a letter from the Office of the Chief Advisor regarding the organization of the national election in February 2026. The matter was confirmed today by Senior Secretary of the Commission, Akhtar Ahmed. Meanwhile, ahead of the 13th National Parliamentary election, the Election Commission has convened a meeting to finalize the Code of Conduct for Political Parties and Candidates 2025. The meeting was held at the Election Commission conference room in Agargaon, Dhaka, with Chief Election Commissioner A.M.M. Nasir Uddin in the chair. Senior officials of the Commission were present at the meeting. The prosecution has submitted the investigation report to the International Crimes Tribunal in the case of the student who was shot while hanging from a building during the anti-discrimination student movement in the capital's Rampura area. Former DMP Commissioner Habibur Rahman, former ADC of DMP's Khilgaon Zone Mohammad Rashidul Islam, former officer in charge of Rampura Police Station Mohammad Mushir Rahman, former SI of Rampura Police Station Tariqul Islam Bhuiya, and former ASI of Rampura Police Outpost Chanchul Chandra Sarkar have been made accused in the case. The investigation agencies submitted the report to the prosecution on 31st of July. After reviewing and scrutinizing the report, the prosecution submitted it to the tribunal today. Meanwhile, the prosecution concluded its argument today in the case regarding the killing and burning of 6 protesters in Australia during the anti-discrimination student movement and the murder of student Sheikh Ashabur Yamin, who was allegedly dragged and thrown from an armed police vehicle. The tribunal has set 13th of August for the hearing from the defense side. A 3-member judicial panel of the International Crimes Tribunal II, headed by Justice Nazrul Islam Chaudhry, passed the order. Prosecutors Mohammad Mizanul Islam, Ghazi M.H. Tamim of the International Crimes Tribunal provided this information. Earlier in the morning, 8 accused in the Yamin murder case, Police Super Muhammad Abdullah Al-Kafi, ADC Shahidul Islam, OC Muhammad Arafat Hussain Arju, SI Abdul Malik Arafat Uddin, Sheikh Abzulul Haq, ASI Kamrul Hassan, and Constable Mukul Chaudhry were produced before the court. Following the ousting of the authoritarian government amid a mass uprising, the interim government faced massive challenges in stabilizing the local economy and restoring investor confidence, both domestic and foreign. Gradually, the fragile economy began returning to normal. To attract foreign investment, the interim government took a series of strategic initiatives. As a result, in the first 3 months of the year, foreign direct investment reached 10,500 crore taka, more than double the amount compared to the same period in 2024. From October onwards, the total FDI over 6 months stood at 16,500 crore taka, which is twice the amount recorded during the last 6 months of the previous government. According to a report by Bangladesh Bank, from January to March this year, foreign investors injected $266 million as equity capital, an increase of 100% compared to the previous 3 months and 119.75% year-on-year. However, economic analysts emphasize that political stability is the top priority for sustaining and expanding foreign investment. They also urge the government to ensure that investors are not subjected to harassment or bureaucratic hurdles. Additionally, intercompany loans saw a dramatic rise up by 1,170% in the first quarter of the year and a staggering 1,498% compared to the same period last year. Now, international news. India has labeled the United States' imposition of additional 25% tariff on Indian goods as unjust, unfair and unreasonable. New Delhi has also declared that it will take all necessary measures to protect its national interest. On Wednesday, US President Donald Trump imposed an additional 25% tariff on Indian products. This comes after a previous 25% retaliatory tariff imposed by the Trump administration on India. The latest tariff hike has been described by Washington as a penalty for India's continued purchase of oil from Russia. Together, these two measures have raised the total US tariff on Indian goods to 50%. Following the White House's announcement, a statement by the Indian Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson was published on the ministry's website. Meanwhile, amid escalating trade tensions with the US over tariff policies, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has decided to visit China. He is set to attend the Shanghai Cooperation Organization SCO summit in the city of Tianjin on August 31. This is a strong possibility of a meeting between Modi, Russian President Vladimir Putin, and Chinese President Xi Jinping during the summit. The SCO member states include China, India, Russia, Iran, Pakistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan. 8 people, including 2 ministers, were killed Wednesday in a military helicopter crash in Ghana, said Chief of Staff Julius Debra. The crash occurred in the Adansi Akrefum district, where the aircraft, a Chinese Z-9 military helicopter, crashed for unknown reasons. Debra said among the victims were the Minister of Defense, Edward Umen-Boma, and the Minister of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed. Also killed were Acting Deputy National Security Coordinator Munirul Mohammed, former Member of Parliament Samuel Ibaway, and Deputy Chairman of the ruling National Democratic Congress Samuel Serpong. The Ghana Armed Forces had earlier confirmed that they were searching for the wreckage after losing contact with the aircraft shortly after it took off from Accra at 9:12 a.m. local time. Debra called the incident a national tragedy and announced that flags would be at half-staff in mourning.